Hello and welcome to the Port Angeles Fine Arts Center. My name is Lauren Bailey and I'm the Community Outreach Coordinator, and I'm joined here today by Amy McIntyre, who is the Executive Director of the North Olympic Historical, I knew I was going to do that, the North Olympic History Center, which was previously known as the Clallam County Historical Society. And so she is here today to join us and share a little bit about the historical significance that the Port Angeles Fine Arts Center has in our community, and also what history in our community does and why history in our community is important and relevant today.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us today. So let's dive into those questions.
Okay.
So with your role as the Executive Director of the North Olympic History Center, why do you think our local history is relevant?
Well, I believe that arts and culture teaches us who we are, and I think it places our present and the immediate past into the framework of history. I think it also builds personal resilience and community resilience to tell our stories, and I think it leads to stewardship too, this recognition that we are here for a time. We've inherited it. People have taken care of it before us. We're here to take care of it now and hopefully add to it and then pass it on.
Yeah, that's beautiful. It is kind of that a legacy in a way of stewarding the legacy of our community in a way.
Yeah, I think it leads people to taking care of it, and the more you know about it, I think the more you invest.
Absolutely.
And the more you invest, the more you want, the more you are proud of it and want to see it succeed, and sort of maybe leave your mark, and then leave it for other people in maybe better than you found it.
Yeah, that's really amazing. I found that to be true here, if I'm kind of digging into the different layers of the history of the Art Center. And so it's when you learn a little bit more, it kind of deepens your your roots or your interest in the place or organization wherever you are.
I agree. Yeah, I think that's key to getting investment in place is piquing people's curiosity, teaching them about it, and I think the more you know, the more you care.
Yeah, absolutely. So this kind of ties into our next question. What a sense of place for an organization, what having a sense of place does for an organization, for a community like ours. And we did kind of touch on that it does deepen the roots and attachment.
Right. I think that when people feel that, they express that maybe through joining different organizations.
Yeah, I can see that.
I know for me, I joined the Port Angeles Arts Council. And I grew up in Forks in a rural place, moved to Seattle, thought I had found my way to arts and culture, and then moved here, and of course it's different than it is in Seattle. So I had to find my way to the arts and culture in Port Angeles in a different way. And one way was through the Port Angeles Arts Council, and getting involved in that organization just helped me sort of solidify my ideas about volunteerism and creating the world that you want to live in.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, again, it goes into that stewards of a place. I don't know, I look at these old photos of Port Angeles and see all the investment that those people were making in the town, and how we might carry that on. For them, be good ancestors.
Right, yeah, absolutely, to cherish and take care of what they've already built.
Right. It's like taking care of anything that's inherited and that will be inherited by others. Yeah.
So what do you find particularly interesting or surprising about the history of the Port Angeles Fine Arts Center and Esther Webster? Because I know that you guys have some treasures at the Historical Society.
We do. First of all, just this architectural home that she donated and left to become the Fine Arts Center, I just think is amazing. It really stands alone in its design, and I only recently learned that she grew up in rural Oregon and went to New York City before coming to Port Angeles. And I saw my own trajectory in that, where she had grown up rurally, gone to the city, and then moved to a place that was sort of more in between. And the way that she found her own way to arts and culture. I mean, sometimes you find your way to it, or you have to create it. And I was surprised she grew up rurally, and just really struck by how she sort of activated her privilege to give to this community. The way that she recognized that. I just think of the way when you rise, you should probably bring as many people with you as you can. And I think it's interesting the way that she gave so much back.
Yeah, she definitely did.
Yeah.
It is a really unique story, her experience and how she got here and where she was trying to go. But this definitely wasn't New York City back then, and not now, but that she made and brought culture and the arts and different aspects that she was looking for. And I think that's so necessary. Like each of us, we're all looking for something. We're all looking for a little something, and sometimes we land in a community where that does exist or there's great opportunity for it, but just because it's not there doesn't mean we can't bring it there or build it
That's
there
right.
or invite it to be a part of that community, because we're a part of the community. So
I definitely learned that, and I came from Forks, like I said, but where my mother had done a lot of work from the ground up in trying to, for example, bringing the Port Angeles Symphony back in the 80s for a performance there, and bringing us here to see the Port Angeles Light Opera and various productions and things like that. And then I moved to Seattle, where, as I kind of put it, the table was set. I didn't. There was so much going on, it didn't feel like you necessarily had to, you could just partake in it.
right.
And maybe that was my age, that I didn't quite recognize all the work that went into that.
Right.
But then coming here and wanting, I don't want to say wanting more, because a lot exists here, but just having that sort of geographical perspective. It was a really big deal in my life to go from Forks to Seattle.
Yeah,
So it was a
huge.
very interesting thing to come here
Right.
and find that the table wasn't set the way that it was in Seattle, but that there were ways of coming to the table, and that was necessary to be involved that way.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So our last question is about the future. So how do you think we could move our city into the future without abandoning our history? Are there any ideas that you have around that?
Well, yeah, there's a lot of talk about resilience right now, and I heard on, I think it was CBC Radio from Canada, they were talking about resilience and parenting, and they said that one way that you can really build resilience in children is by telling all the stories. You don't just tell the stories of success or just the stories of failure or struggle. You tell, this is how we struggled, but this is how we overcame it, and this is how we became successful. And it's that full story that builds resilience, because if you leave out struggle or leave out success, it's just not balanced. And it doesn't tell about how, it doesn't have that full arc of story. And so I really, really believe in storytelling, and really that's a huge thing that I want to bring with me to the History Center, and that they've already been doing for years. So, to build community resilience and personal resilience and have those stories recorded. But then I also believe that we need to recapture or capture some stories that were left out of history, like the stories of women and Indigenous people and people of color. So it'll be recognizing that history is being made right now. I don't know that we've ever been more aware of that.
Right.
But also, so capturing those stories that weren't told in traditional history, and then continuing to tell the stories of today as part of that stewardship.
Yeah, that's going to be a really neat undertaking, and excited to see
Yeah.
where you with the Historical Society go, and also where our community goes from here. It's a trying but also interesting time, because there's a lot of places we can go from here together.
Right. I think we've never been more aware in our lifetimes that we're making history, but also the future feels very uncertain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when we're all experiencing it together, which is an interesting thing.
That's
So
right.
there is that level of uncertainty, but we're all in it at the same time. It'll be interesting to see.
It will, and I'm excited to take this job at a time that feels so historical.
Yes, that is timely.
Yeah, it's always a challenge to tell the story as it's happening.
Right. Yes.
I love the author Alice Munro from Victoria. She said, I need some distance to be able to tell the story of what's happened. So I'll be able to tell every story up until the last story. I won't have distance after that one. I thought that was so profound.
That is.
Yeah.
And so true. So true. Well, Amy, thank you so much for sharing your passion for history and our community with us today. And we look forward to working together in the future. We'll see what we have in store.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Lauren.
Thank you.